Hi, this is Umair and this is the jQuery tutorial. In this tutorial I will show you how to create a dynamic menu with the help of jQuery. So as you can see on my screen, I have this menu. We can navigate to different pages, and when the size of our screen gets smaller, the main menu will be changed into drop down. So you can see that I have changed the size of my browser and the menu has been changed, and as I increase the width of my browser again, the menu gets back to its original state. When it gets smaller, we can also navigate to different pages. So this is all I will do with the help of jQuery. So let's get started. I'm using WebStorm as my IDE, but you can use other text editors like Notepad++, Sublime Text. So you can see that I have created this default project. You can create from going to File, New Project, and create an empty project in your specific directory. So first what we need to do, we need to create the user interface. This user interface for our web application. So let's do it. I will not explain the HTML and CSS because I would be hoping that you already know HTML CSS to see me and understand it by your own. Okay, so let's create 4 HTML files. First one is the home index file, about file, contact, and the last one, events. Alright, in this file, come to the body tag and add a div tag inside it, and add an ID to this div tag, and I would say a main menu. I will be creating these IDs in my CSS later on. Okay, so now we need to create a main menu. So we need to create a list, unordered list. Alright, and then create 4 list items. Inside this list item, we need to create an anchor tag for creating a hyperlink. Okay, so href equals to index.html. Okay, and inside it add a text, home. Now I will duplicate this thing 3 more times and change it to about, contact, and events. Alright, and change its text as well. So about, contact, events. Alright, and we need to add an ID, a class though to it, because if it is selected, then its background should be white. As you can see that it is selected, this background should be white, and its text color should be black. Okay, so let's add a class to it as selected. Alright, now outside this div tag, let's create a paragraph tag that would be, say, home page. Alright, so let's remove it. I haven't added any CSS file right now or any JavaScript file, but in my HTML files I am including all those files before writing those files, because we don't want to come back to our HTML files again. So just do it what I'm doing. Rel style sheet, href, and it would be style.css, and type would be text CSS. Alright, and I'm going to add a reference to my jQuery file. Okay, so what is the script? Source would be, I would add an online source for the jQuery. So code.jquery.com/jQuery -1.11.0.main.js. Okay, so type would be JavaScript because it's a JavaScript library. And after including jQuery file, I would add my jQuery file in which I will be writing my code. Alright, so that would be app.js and type would be JavaScript. So I have written all these things before writing actual code of JavaScript and CSS because I need to copy and paste the same code in other 3 files as well, so that we may not be adding separately in each file. So let's copy it and paste it. Okay, so this class should be added to this list item because we will be on about tag. Okay, so it would be about. Alright, so I think everything is okay. So now go to contact and paste. Okay, we need to copy it first and we need to paste it right here, and we need to replace this with here. Okay, and change it to contact. Okay, so it's really fine, and let's copy it and paste it in here. Okay, and then cut this class and paste it and change its name to events. Alright, now let's see. Okay, so we have this list items with no style sheet. Now we need to write style sheet as fast as we can. So let's go and add a CSS file in it. That would be style. Alright, so let's do it. Body would be background equals to left. Font family should be sans serif. Margin should be 0. Okay, and now let's add styles to our main menu ID. Okay, so main menu, it should have a background of green color. Okay, so it has to be green, and height should be 40 pixels. Text align center. Now let's add a style to our paragraph. This one, it will not be too much, but the size of font size equals to 40 pixels. Let's add color to it. Color has to be black, so it would be 00, and we should bring it to the center of our page. So text align center. Okay, so now let's add style to UL. We need to remove those bullet points, so we need to set the list style to none. Okay, so list style to none. Now add a style to the actual list item. Display should be inline block. Okay, and the width of each list item should be 80 pixels, and text align center. Okay, Now let's add style to our anchor tag inside list item. Okay, so it will have a color of white. Okay, color has to be white, width has to be 100, line height should be 40 pixels, and text decoration should be none. Alright, so now let's add style to our each list item, and we need to assign this class. Okay, so let's say inside UL element we have li tag, and li tag will be having the selected class. What it will do, it will be having a background color of white, so it should be white. So 0 0, no, it should be triple F. Alright, now we need to change the color of our actual text because it is actually white, and we need to change the color to black if it is selected. Okay, so UL selected class, and inside the selected class we have A, and we need to change its color to black. Alright, so I think we are done with it. So now let's see if we have the actual style now. Okay, so we are done with it and we have everything working fine. But now if we decrease the screen size, it will not work what we want it to work. Okay, so now let's go and write some jQuery. Okay, so let's add a JavaScript and name it as app. Okay, we have already included the jQuery file right here after including the jQuery file from online, because it has to be before our file, because our code will not work if we include the online jQuery library after our file. Okay, so let's think of it that what we want to do. We want to change this inner HTML into a drop down. So in HTML we have a select tag, and inside the select tag we have option tag. So we need to remove or hide these elements and replace it with the select tag having the option tags inside that select tag. So we will dynamically create those HTML elements and replace these elements with that code. Alright, we can also do it with the JavaScript, but it's a lot easier to create dynamic HTML elements with the help of jQuery. Alright, so first I will create a dynamic select element. In order to create that element, we can do it with our select. This is the variable name. It's not required to use this $sign, but it is the recommended way that if we create a dynamic HTML as a value to assign to variable, then we must use this $sign before the variable name, because it should be understood to new coders. Okay, so in order to create it, we need to assign with a $sign again, and inside the double quotes we will create select elements. Okay, so we have created this select element. Alright, now we need to append that select element to this div tag, inside this div tag. Alright, so to append this, we can do is we first need to select that div element, and in order to select that div element we need to select it with the help of ID that is assigned to this element. In order to select it, we can use hashtag and name of that ID. Okay, we have selected that, and inside this element we need to append our select tag. Alright, so we have appended our select element. Now what we need to do, we need to create this much option tags and append those option tags inside this select element. Alright, now how do we know that how many items we should create? We will iterate all the list items, and we will create the option tags as much as these list items. So these are four list items, so 4 option items will be created. Alright, so first we need to iterate through all these list items. Okay, so how we can iterate through? We can iterate it with the selector function. Okay, so first we need to select main menu and the anchor tag. It shows that inside this element we have an anchor tag, and iterate until you end up all the anchor tags inside this element. Alright, if there are 4 anchor tags, then it will iterate 4 times. So each function will receive a function as a parameter, and inside it we can write our code to create our option elements. Alright, so now let's do it. First again, as we created our select element, we need to create our option element. Okay, so as a standard way of creating it, we need to use $sign and option variable and equals to $. Inside double quotes we can create option element. Alright, now we need to set its value, that what should be the value of option. Its value should be the value of this attribute of this anchor tag, because as our screen gets larger, if we click any of our tab, it navigates to that page. Now if screen is smaller, then if we click any of the option from the drop down, it should navigate to that page on which we have clicked. So we need to set the value of this option tag to the attribute of this anchor tag. Okay, so for assigning the value, we have a function built in jQuery function called value. So option dot value, actually it's a val, and we need to get the value of this attribute. In order to get it, first we need to select this tag. Alright, so now there are more than one anchor tags. Alright, and each of them have different values. If we select it directly with a tag, how do we know that which value of this attribute should be assigned to this option value? So what we can do is we can use this keyword. It will refer to the current anchor tag on which this loop is iterating. Alright, so to get the attribute of value href, we can use attr, and of which attribute we want to get the value. We want to get the value of href. Alright, so we have got the value, and now we need to set the text of it. Like the value we have set will be will, because of if we click on it, and the text would be the shown value. Okay, so now we need to set its text. So option dot text would be the value of current anchor tag, the inner HTML. Okay, so for that we can do it with this dot text. Alright, now we have assigned its value, we have assigned its text, we have created an option. Now what we are left with, we have to assign this class. Alright, so we need to detect that we are iterating with the help of anchor tag. Now we will check if the parent of this anchor tag, that is li, contains the class selected. If any of the anchor tag contains the class selected, then set the property of option tag to this. Okay, so let's check it. If this dot parent dot has class selected, then we can assign that attribute to our option tag. Okay, so option dot property has to be selected and it has to be true. Okay, so we are done with it. We have a select element that is appended to main menu, and we have option tag that we have filled it with our text and values and assigned a class to it. And now we need to append this option tag to this select element. Alright, so select dot append option. Alright, so we are done with it. Alright, so now if you think a bit that we have created these elements, now how will we detect if the size of our browser is increased or decreased? This code will not detect that. We need to detect it with the CSS code called media queries. So let's do it. So let's come here, and at the top, if you already know how to use media queries, it's good. If you don't know, then even I'm going to explain you. Alright, so media queries are used to detect the screen size, that if our web page is working on a wide screen or a landscape screen, according to that check we can disable or enable different properties and its values. Alright, so for using media queries we can use the keyword media, and then we can detect the min width equals to 200. Alright, and max width equals to 500. Okay, so I'm checking this if our web page is working, is running on mobile phones or a tablet, means on a smaller screen. So now what we need to do, we need to disable this tag. Alright, so in order to disable that tag, we can select that tag first, main menu, UL, and display has to be none. Alright, we need to add the colon inside it, and in order to detect if our web page is running on a wide screen like on desktop, we need to add another media query check. Alright, that has to be add sign, so media, that would be min width should be 500. Alright, this code will work if the width of screen is greater than 500. So we disabled the view of UL in case of mobile screen size, and now here we need to disable the select tag that we have created dynamically in case of desktop. Okay, so let's select that and display none. Alright, so now we are done with it. Now let's go and check it out. So it's working now. So you can see that my screen gets smaller and my list elements are converted into the drop down. Alright, but we are not navigating from one page to another page in our drop down. We need to check the click event on it. Alright, so before doing that, let's go and set its style first. As you can see that it's not looking really good. We need to bring it at the center and increase its width, and in greater screen we need to bring that back to the top. There is a space, white space above this UL tag. Okay, so let's do it. In here we need to select width. If the UL is disabled, then it means that the select is enabled. Okay, so if select is enabled, then increase its width to 90%, and margin top should be 10 pixels. Alright, if the select is disabled, then we need to set the property values of UL tag. Means UL tag will be visible if select is disabled. Alright, so main menu, okay, UL. So in here we can say that top should be 0 because there is a space at the top of our tab. Okay, margin top should be 0. Alright, so let's go and check it. So you can see that our space has been removed. Now let's make the screen size a bit smaller. So you can see that it has been at the center and the width has been increased, so it's looking really good. Alright, now we need to add a click event in order to navigate to different pages. To add a click event, we don't need to do much. It's just the few lines of code, in fact 2 lines of code. So let's come here, and inside jQuery we have different events like on click event or key up event. So inside this tag we have an option called change. If the value of select element is changed, then according to that we can navigate to other pages. Alright, so first we need to select this item. Okay, so okay, no, we need to select it, select dot change. Alright, this is detecting if the value of select element means that if the options, different options has been selected. Alright, and it will receive a function. Inside that function we need to write our code that after selection what we need to do, we need to navigate to that specific page. Alright, so select has a built-in function called value. In order to get the selected value, means that dot value. Alright, so it will return the current value of select, that which option has been selected, but we need to assign the value of this function, this piece of code, to the JavaScript function called window location. Alright, so now let's see if it works. So it's working in here. Now let's change its size. So you can see that the contact is being selected and the contact page is being shown. Now let's home page. So it's working really fine. we can navigate to different pages. Alright, so I think this is enough, and this is all for this part. So I hope that you have liked it. If you have any question, just comment below. I will answer your questions. I'm planning to make other tutorials as well on jQuery, like developing an application like Paintbrush for drawing different graphics art on the screen. And more than that, I will be planning to make a one-page web application with the help of JavaScript, most famous framework called AngularJS. I have been working with AngularJS, and I'm going to make so many tutorials on this. My tutorial will be based on a project, but not on the single function inside JavaScript or jQuery or any other framework. So stay tuned and make sure to subscribe this channel. Hope you like this video. Thanks a lot for watching this video.